Good morning. It is November 11th, 2025, and the Goodreads Choice Awards have been announced. If you haven't been keeping along with my series, I have been predicting the top 20, top 10, and number one winner of the mystery thriller category for 3 years now, and I am on a mission to keep getting better and better every single year. In 2022, I got 9 correct, in 2023, I got 10 correct, and in 2024, I got 13 correct. So today I'm aiming for at least 14 or more, but I am feeling pretty low confidence this year because it's just been a weird year for mystery thrillers. So nothing else to say or do, we just have to jump in, see what we've got on the board, and I'll see how I did. All right, here we go. I've perfected the art of looking at this without my eyes focusing on the mystery thriller because I don't want to see the 3 pictures and I can like hide it out a little. Okay, click. We're clicking. Wait, okay, also, I have no memory of what my top 20 prediction was. Should I look at that first? We'll just look at this. Okay, I'm seeing some good things. I cannot remember what Freida McFadden's I predicted. The Karen Slaughter's here. I feel like I might have pulled Alice Feeney out, but I don't remember. The Ghostwriter. The Stacey Willingham, I think I pulled that one out. John Mars. The Intruder, I think I guessed that, Freida at least. The Reese Witherspoon book. I knew that was gonna sneak up on me. Not Dead Yet, Missing Half, Don't Let Him In. Famous Last Words. The freaking Dan Brown book. Ugh. I was really feeling like the Dan Brown book just would be like, not here. Yet it is here. Vera Wong, Perfect Divorce, great. Tenet. I'm sorry, is that 3 Freida books? Tenet, The Intruder, and The Crash? I'm unwell. Anyway, John Grisham, What Are You Doing Here? Richard Osman, of course, and Heartwood, which I was iffy on. I thought it would go to Litvic, but it is here. Let's look at my predictions. This is what I had. So I did have the Tenet and the Intruder. No Love, Mom. Kind of shocked by that. That book seemed really popular. I thought I was like really had my finger on the pulse of like a really random obscure one that would end up on the list, but I did not. The Perfect Divorce, that was there. Don't Let Him In. The Impossible Fortune, Not Quite Dead Yet. Karen Slaughter. Stacey Willingham. There was not the Sherry Lapina book. We Don't Talk About Carol didn't make it. That's annoying. The Missing Half. Famous Last Words. So that's 10. Susie Dent book did not make it. Ghostwriter, King of Ashes. Detective Auntie did not make it. Vera Wong. And then Maid Secret and Killer Question didn't make it. So that's 13, which is still good, but I didn't beat last year, but at least I didn't get worse than last year. So I'm okay with that. So these are the 7 that I predicted that did not make it in. So I guess they no longer care about the Maid series because this is the 3rd book in the Maid series. The other 2 books have made it in. This one, nope. Janice Hallett is really successfully doing something that no one else is doing right now the way she is. Making these mixed media murder mysteries. They are so good. She deserves a spot. Goodreads, if you're watching this, I better see her next year. Detective Auntie, I haven't heard a ton of buzz about. I don't think the numbers were huge, but it did feel like we needed more cozy mysteries on the list. And I guess in general, surprised we don't have many cozy mysteries. The Susie Dent book, I really thought I was doing something there with the Susie Dent and the Love Mom, but Goodreads fooled me. And then We Don't Talk About Carol. I'm kind of surprised that one didn't make the list. Sherry Lapina, I was kind of iffy on that one the whole time. The 7 that made it instead of those, one is The Crash. I cannot believe there are 3 Freida McFadden books on this list. They needed to just pick 2. There needs to be a rule next year that an author cannot have more than 2 books in a category. That's just insane. That is 15% of this category is Freida McFadden. That's crazy. The Alice Feeney book, was that ever in my original? Because I ended up swapping a couple out. So I ended up swapping out The Wrong Sister, Too Old for This, and a Kate Ellis Marshall book. So I guess I never had Alice Feeney in there. I think that book had a low average rating. Yeah, it's a 3.6 average rating, which it does have a lot of readers, but I just felt like with an average rating that's like really low, close enough to almost being disqualified, that really probably should not have made it on here because this is not the best if it has such a low average rating. It doesn't matter that a lot of people read it. Okay, The Crash, Alice Feeney. The John Mars book, that one, yeah, I was kind of looking at that one because it had a high readership and also has a higher average rating. Reese Witherspoon book, That was one of those ones that just came out right at the end of September, I think. And so it just wasn't super high on my radar. And I did see some people in the comments of my prediction video be like, what about the Reese Witherspoon book? Do you think it's gonna make it? And I immediately regretted it. I was like, yes, it's 100% gonna make it. Dan Brown book. What is this? The 6th book in a series? Yeah, okay. The Widow, John Grisham. Don't know anything about this. I've never read a John Grisham book. It has a high average rating, 4.3, but only 13,000 ratings. Must have just recently come out, but why is this here? I do not know. And then Heartwood, which I knew was going to be a popular book this year, but I just really didn't feel like it was going to be in this category. But once I got to the end of my predictions, predicting the top 10, and I remember that The God of the Woods won the whole category last year, I was like, we need a more like literary mystery, and I think I missed that. So I should have gone back and put that in at the point, but that's okay. So for my top 10 prediction, let's see how many are eligible. I think all of these are in the top 20. Frida, Geneva, Lisa, Richard, Holly, Karen, Vera, S.A. Cosby, and Julie Clark. Okay, so I still have a chance to get 10 out of 10 for the top 10. This is all gonna come down to people's votes, so I'll see how I did on those. But I'm not feeling terrible about 13. This is a pretty good track record. At least I'm not going backwards. Now I need to decide if I want to try to read the full category. So let's see how many of these I've already read. I have read The Crash, Beautiful Ugly, Don't Let 'Em In. I sort of read Not Quite Dead Yet. I did end up DNFing it, but I would read the whole thing, I guess, if I was gonna read it again. Famous Last Words, Vera Wang, The Tenant, and The Impossible Fortune. So I've read 7 of the top 20. Which would mean I had to read 13 books if I was going to complete the category. And I will tell you right now, I will not be reading this Dan Brown book no matter what. And I don't really know if I would want to read the John Grisham. So I might just pick a couple of these that I want to read. I'm not really interested in the Geneva Rose. I am interested in Heartwood. I'm not interested in The Missing Half. I would give Not Quite Dead Yet another go and read the whole thing. I'm kind of interested in the Reese Witherspoon book with Harlan Coben. I'm definitely interested in The Ghostwriter. Not super interested in the Stacey Willingham. I would read The Intruder by Freida McFadden. I would read the John Mars. I would read the Karen Slaughter, and I would read the S.A. Cosby. So there's 8 books that I would read. Will I read all of them? I don't know. Maybe I'll try and just allow myself to DNF more if I want to this year. Because mystery thrillers this year just have not been my favorite, so I don't want to, read a bunch of books just to hate them. For a quick little bonus, I do want to look at the other categories, so I'll just fly through some highlights. From the fiction category, I've only read 2 of these, which was The 3 Lives of KK and Wild Dark Shore. I'm going to be voting on Wild Dark Shore. I have not read any of these historical fiction books, but I do want to read What Kind of Paradise and Broken Country, maybe The Amalfi Curse and The Hounding. A lot of these are actually kind of interesting to me. From the romance category, I've read Scythe and Sparrow, Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I started Problematic Summer Romance, didn't finish it. Great Big Beautiful Life and Deep End, so I've read 4 of those. Bryn Weaver got 2 books in this category. From Romantasy, I've probably read absolutely 0 of these. That is correct, I've read 0 of those. In fantasy, I have read absolutely 0 of these, but a couple of them are on my radar. Science fiction, I started and DNF'd Death of the Author. Haven't read these. I think we've been here before. I'm really surprised that made it. That was a random book that's been on my radar all year that I haven't heard anyone talk about. I came across it in the most random way. I was like, oh, that sounds good. Can't believe that made it on here. The Poppy Fields is on my radar, haven't read it yet. These Memories Do Not Belong to Us on my radar, haven't read it yet. Same with The Dream Hotel, The Ones in Future, Me. I have read The Memory Collectors, and I want to read The Merge. So I read 2 of these, a good amount of them on my radar. For the horror category, I've read You Weren't Meant to Be Human, Bat Eater, and Other Names for Cora Zhang. When the Wolf Comes Home. I have Play Nice on my TBR. Haven't read it yet though. None of those. I do want to read The Lamb. I've read Witchcraft or Wayward Girls. DNF'd The Bewitching. What Hunger? I read that, loved that. Love to see that here. And that's it. So I've read 5. A couple of these also on my TBR. Debut novel. So far I've read When the Tides Held the Moon. And Finding Grace. So 2 of those. I forgot they have an audiobook category now. So King of Ashes is also in this category along with the mystery thriller. Broken Country, that was in historical fiction, I think, and that one's also here. I think My Friends was in another category. Tourist Season was in another category. Atmosphere was in another category. Karen Slaughter, Alchemized, Onyx Storm, Great Big Beautiful Life. So a lot of these are repeats. The young adult categories, I'm sure that I've read None of these. Oh no, actually I read Hazelthorn. Okay, so that's one. Oh, and Sunrise on the Reaping. Read 2 of those. For young adult fiction, this one is probably 0. Definitely none of those have I read. I don't know that I read a single nonfiction book this year, so I'm not expecting to have read any of those. Same goes for the memoir category. Haven't read any memoirs this year. And I have not read any history and biography. For the mystery thriller, I am gonna vote on either the Vera Wong book or Richard Osman. They're both parts of series, and I gave them both 4 stars, but I think I probably like the Vera Wong book a little bit more. This is the 2nd book in the series. The Impossible Fortune's the 5th book in that series, and I feel like if I just compared them both, Vera Wong I liked a little bit better, so I'm gonna vote for that one. I will decide amongst myself what my reading plans are for the rest of the year. I'll probably try to read a couple more of these mystery thriller books, and I know there's a couple amongst the other categories that I'm interested in reading in as well, so maybe some videos coming throughout the rest of the year, early January, reading some more of these books, and I'll of course be watching to see how the rest of the Goodreads Choice Awards goes, what makes it in the top 10 and the number 1, see if I was right on those, and that'll either be its own video or just embedded in those videos that I end up doing, reading more Goodreads Choice Awards books, so you can look out for that. But let me know what you think of the awards this year down in the comments below. Anything that surprised you in the mystery thriller category, anything that you definitely thought was going to be there that isn't there, let me know all that down below. But that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.